you tell me? Hello. Is it fine? Are you audible? Am I audible? Hey. No.
Hi guys. Can you hear?
Can you guys hear me from the back? Yeah, cool. Thanks. So I'm today talking about implementing DevOps beyond automation. So when you hear beyond automation, it means going to talk about the cultural aspects and other things which we need to think about. So my name is Syam and my GitHub ID is this one. I am trained as a production engineer, then later I started on developing, and then I got into the hardware related stuff which is like sysadmin, and then I started evangelizing free software, and right now I'm a Red Hatter. Yeah, that's me. And how many people are doing DevOps here? Okay. All are from Red Hat, or how many from Red Hat? DevOps? Okay. How many developers are in the room? Operations? Then others are managers, I guess. Right? Yeah, what comes into your mind when you hear DevOps for the first time? Like, can you give few answers? Like, what do you think about, like, when you hear the word DevOps, what comes into your mind?
Developers and operations together.
Okay, good. So, I asked few of my colleagues and friends about this. So, I asked few of the operations guys, and for them it's all about Docker, Kubernetes, and all these tools, and architecting them, and giving the flow and everything. But from the developer perspective, I think a lot of my colleagues or like a lot of the friends around us are still confused with these YAML files, Docker files, and whatever. So there are few developers who are doing DevOps here, right? What do you think about DevOps? So what is DevOps for you? Okay, cool. And from the manager perspective, any managers or like people from the...
Two people in one.
Huh?
Two people in one, doing one developer and...
So that means you are expecting collaboration and so on. Okay. Yeah, good.
Less headcount.
Huh?
For the managers, less headcount.
Oh.
Come on. Why to hire ops and dev when you can have two in one?
Maybe. So I think I spoke to a few of the managerial guys or the startup guys in Bangalore, where I'm coming from, and they say it's like we can bring the market business idea quickly into the market, and the teams will collaborate more better than in the waterfall model or the previous model is what. So the big picture. So the traditional way was siloed, and developers was in a different silo, operations guys in a different silo, and testers in a different silo. And we know that, so I'm not going to elaborate on that. So actually what does DevOps means? So a lot of the people, when they say, talk about making the business ideas quickly into the production, some of them are missing the collaboration and feedback loops is what I think. So I would like to say it's an infinite process. So that if it needs to be an infinite process, we need to have the feedback loop properly. So that means like create, plan, and then release. We have to concentrate on tools, but once the tools are in place, we have to concentrate on other aspects, like are people comfortable with the tools, and is it moving forward in a proper flow and stuff like that. So it's a continuous process. That's all. So where does this idea came from? Is it a new idea? It came from the lean manufacturing principles which we had long back from the Toyota manufacturing and other things. And now the same thing has been copied into a different domain, which is called our industry, which is IT industry. So what are the lean manufacturing philosophies? So these are the lean manufacturing philosophies, which is like improving quality and reducing time and cost and delivering better products in less time and using less resources. So while they were implementing lean at that time, they were concentrating on few things, which we are doing right now in DevOps also. So which has, they have like some of them tried to make a cultural change and empower the employees, and putting the proper tools and resources in place was the first thing which they did, and followed by the cultural change. And when you implement or like when you try to change the way they are working, there will be a huge resistance. So they were prepared for that, and they were like giving trainings and other stuff for them to understand what the change actually means for them and for the company. And like establishing ownerships and not blaming. So then only people will be able to communicate each other properly and accept their failures and open it up before somebody else noticing it. So these are the things which lean manufacturing was following. But one of the main failures which happened on the people who are following lean was some of them didn't put much consciousness into the cultural aspects and empowering the employees. So that was one of the main failure which happened in that industry. So coming back to DevOps, we have tools, processes, and reorganizations which are done in many places. But I don't think we have a wider understanding about what is happening among the developer team, as well as the managerial team, as well as the operations team. Maybe few of the team leads or like few of the heads are aware that, and we are like trying to move faster and faster, and we are losing the spreading of this wider understanding, like, and empowering everybody. So yeah, I want to do a few of us are doing DevOps, right? So if you can just think about these points and just think about it in your mind. So I work for a DevOps department in Red Hat, and I spoke to, I'm from a city where there are a lot of startups and other companies are also located. So I spoke to them, and I have shared these questions with them also, and like a lot of people are like still, yeah, we are lacking some of this, and we are not putting much effort in improving these things, and that is making a lot of loss in time, or like when they try to make process changes or code changes or stuff like that, testing strategy changes. Stuff. Yeah. Let's focus on why. I don't have an answer how we can change it actually, but recently a lot of people renamed their ops team into infrastructure team, release management team, build deploy team, or something, whatever. Does it really make a change? There are few operations, guys. Do you still have the operations team name, or like a new team name like this things, service delivery, infrastructure team, or something like that?
No, we don't.
Or you still open operations team?
No. Yeah, the new names are everywhere.
Do you feel the way which you worked has changed?
No, it's just a name.
Yeah.
The name because the managers wants to be more DevOps. By the name.
Yeah, the names have changed. There are like a lot of presentations happening. There are like a lot of group building activities happening. But to be frank, I feel it is not making any impact in reality. If you look into the way they are working, they are still somewhat siloed when it comes into different things. And like we are mostly putting like most of the time into discussion about tools and other techniques and stuff like that. And I really feel like a lot of people don't have like a self-service, like infrastructure as a code kind of thing still in production or still inside the company. And developers are somewhat not interested in understanding the infrastructure. I don't know why. It's still a great thing for the developers, but if they want to run, they like to write a code which will run properly in a production environment. I think they should try to widen their understanding, and we should, from the operation side, you should also help them to understand all these things, why we are using this YAML file and what are these parameters. They don't need to look into each and every aspect of it, but they should be self-capable of exploring something if they want to tweak something, and they should try to run the same environment on their laptop or on their staging space. Yeah, those 2 points which I have discussed, like there are still silos, and we have to develop, educate our developers more. At the same time, I have noticed operations guys are not much interested in the developer stuff which they are doing, and when sometimes huge changes comes from the developer side, it's hard for them to take into production. So that means we still have that friction or like that silos in between. So the communication is not happening properly. When developers want to make a change, there should be a cross communication which is happening. Like we are planning to make this change. So the database might be affected. So if they are aware about the infrastructure, they themselves might come up with the ideas that it might affect database, or the HTTP proxy which we are using or stuff like that. And a lot of the developers don't use the production similar environment in their local setup because they won't run Apache to test their stuff. That is another thing. That's an entirely different discussion. I don't want to. So I think we can do is like we can say everything, but it's very hard to implement and take it to them, us, not them. These are the same things which are mapped to the lean concepts. So promoting the shared learning and stuff like that. So what I want to say is let's put some focus on building good relationship and cross collaboration teams, and give them space to do cross collaboration by putting the other things which they have on their desk. If somebody is interested, somebody from the ops is interested in their developer, working closely with the developer team, give him the bandwidth to do that stuff so that they both will get empowered by collaborating each other. Yeah, this is the main point which I want to emphasize, that we have to focus on culture as well as as much as effort which we are putting on the tools and other stuff. So if we do that, we can do things more faster, and we can be better at doing DevOps. Yeah. So any questions or do you guys think any other things which we can do to make it better? I know company to company, country to country, the cultures are different. So if you are cross-collaborating with people from a different country, there is a cultural aspects because of the geolocation or something that also comes into the picture. So nobody can give anybody a solution, but if we think for ourselves, we might be able to find a solution. We should discuss about these things with colleagues and try to come up with ideas and then try to make better DevOps culture. That's what I. Yeah. Huh.
That's what I keep on hearing is that, oh, if you're doing CI, then you're QE, and that's not the case. You're trying to support developers. So when I think it's important for managers to understand that you should fly them out and meet the developers face to face, like put them all in one room, have a meeting, because that's really important. And I've done that in the last 2 years, and I've seen developers respond positively as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some engineers don't want to change, they still follow scripts, that's okay. But otherwise, if you can have an open channel for communication where you have regular meetings, or once a year you're in the same room discussing, okay, what do we need to implement next year, how did we change from last year, that helps in bridging that gap between developers.
Yeah, and the other thing is like we can't impose anything. We have to give them freedom, and they have to come up from like their side. Yeah. Yeah, that's anything. Yeah, cool. If you have any ideas or if you find any interesting things in this side, you can email me, or if you have anything to ask, you can just follow me on Twitter. Thank you.
Paulo. Do you have HDMI or
HDMI or
this is like HDMI actually not works properly.
okay.
It's better to connect to VGA.
I don't have VGA. I've got DisplayPort.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, cool.
And if you want to sound,
Okay.
this one. If you want network, internet, this one.
The Wi-Fi should be good. Hopefully. Yep, it's still connected.
No, it's not working. You can do it. Yeah, we tried.
How do I turn that
Do you see another screen? Maybe it's need to stop display.